Hey, good morning. Good Monday morning. It's good. Hey, we have a new John.
Hey, John.
Man, you guys at home are so screwed. We got two Johns. Actually, that one actually knows what he's talking about. This one, I just read whatever I read off the internet. That's kind of
John 1, John 2.
John 1 and John 2, baby. John 1 and John 2.
Thing 1, thing 2.
Thing 1. And we're on the new set.
I love the set.
Everybody liked it online. Everybody's like, oh, that looks really good. Oh, my TV's crooked. Damn it, Bobby. So, it was a long weekend.
Yeah.
I am tired. Yes, the Rowdies won. You guys are. I'm gonna talk about that a little bit this morning. Actually, I am they call it the EIC. I don't know why. I just fix stuff. But so I am the engineer in charge of the TVs, the technical side of the television station for the Rowdies TV, and they won. That's awesome. That means we're going to the playoffs.
All right.
Yeah, we got two more games. We got this Wednesday and then next Saturday. Oh, no, this Wednesday and Saturday. So if you guys got nothing to do, come to a soccer game in St. Pete. It's actually quite exhilarating. I'm actually learning about soccer now. When I first got there, I'm like, it's like hockey without sticks and a puck and a ball.
Well, everywhere else they call it football.
That's what I was going to say. It's really
football.
Yeah,
because
we're the only place that calls it soccer.
And you know, it actually makes more sense because you're using your feet more in that game than you do with American football.
Very true.
Which should be called handball then.
Handball or weird shaped
Now wait a
ball.
minute. There's already a handball. We should just play with paddle. Handball.
Okay.
Paid with little
How
paddles.
about kill the guy with the ball?
Just call it what it used to be called, pigskin.
Pigskin.
Yeah, there we
Forgot
go.
the old pigskin. But anyway, and other than that, did you tech this weekend?
I did. Of course, every weekend. It's kind of like a hobby as well as.
Do you have that just attached to your brain so you can kind of just walk around?
You know, it's like the future of everything, right? We're all eventually going to be enhanced in some way, most likely with technology.
And you were out of town, weren't you?
I was. Last week I was in Dallas, and I was just mentioning, I actually got pretty lucky, won an arcade game, like one of those things that has all the games from the 70s and the 80s.
That's awesome. The one, the little HDMI that goes in the computer and everything?
Yeah, it's basically a smart TV. I mean, I can watch Roku on it too, but it's got the console that, looks like the old-fashioned.
That is super cool.
So yeah, my wife's going, where is that going to go, and what the heck are you going to do with that?
See, isn't it amazing? The wives are always the one that go, hey, where do you think you're going to put that at?
Yeah, exactly.
Me, I'm always like, well, living room. No,
I had no problem thinking of that almost immediately.
Right.
It's like where exactly that thing's going to go. So,
right. Yeah. What about you? Did you tech?
A little tech, and then I got up on Sunday at 11 o'clock.
Did you go to church like a good boy?
I went fishing.
Oh, you went. Well,
I took my father-in-law.
In a way, that's
I took my father-in-law fishing.
And
we were there for about 4 hours.
I've been here like 4 months now, and I haven't been fishing yet. And I grew up fishing because I'm from Michigan originally, and I still haven't gone out. And I need to do that. So maybe we got to go fishing sometime.
You got to go fishing.
While you guys are fishing, just text me going, hey, we're fishing, because as much as I used to be a fisherman, I just don't. I don't know. I've got better.
John camps in air conditioning.
I do, actually.
Yeah, my wife's idea is camping is a hotel room somewhere.
No.
Oh,
that's my wife's the same way.
I'm a glamper.
Glamper.
Okay. Actually, with my kids now hold on. With my kids, we go out, we tent camp.
Okay.
But with, my wife was like, her idea, the same thing. Her idea was camping was like a hotel room. She goes, you guys can go camping, and then just come back and pick me up. Drop me up, pick me up. I'm like, no, so we got an RV.
We went tent camping once, and I bought all the gear and everything.
One time.
One time.
And he has it all still.
I back talked to my mother one time. One time. Yeah. So I teched all weekend because I came in and built the set Sunday. I worked with the Rowdies all day Saturday, came in and built this, and then I played in the yard and got eat up. And, that's always fun. So no, I'm not a homeless dude that's got crap all over me. I just got bit by fire ants, which suck. So everybody we all put our assets in on Saturday and Sunday
to get
assets. Let me see if I can put that just so everybody can read that. Yeah, come take it. There you go. So we put our assets in for the show, and all of a sudden I started noticing, literally like the first 7 things we're going to talk about is data breaches. Because they are not just kind of back, they're like back with a freaking vengeance.
Yeah.
So John was here. John Bishop.
John
You
Gibson.
own Just Right Computers, and it's amazing. I'm surrounded by two guys. This is he works and keeps you safe, and he builds your stuff and keeps you safe. So he got double, and I feel like I'm stupid. I'm in the middle, and I'm like.
And it's Cybersecurity Awareness Month, so.
Oh, it is.
It's a good thing.
I thought it was
to talk
Cancer
about.
Month.
Well, it might be that too, but it's.
Well,
It's
actually,
everything month.
I guess cyber attacks can cause cancer of the computer.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I guess we're celebrating cancer.
They can.
Don't get mad at me, everybody at home.
Oh boy,
I support cancer. I mean cancer treatment, not cancer.
John, digging a hole.
the hell's
Digging
wrong
a hole, John.
Digging a hole. Shut. Anyway, we're gonna go to the first one we're gonna talk about is
Commercial break.
good old Mark Zuckerberg,
Oh,
right?
geez.
So Meta warns 1 million Facebook users their login info has been compromised. When has Facebook not been compromised?
It's.
Isn't that an ongoing thing?
That's the thing is that it's, anybody that wants to get in truly can get in.
Right.
So it's not an if situation, it's when. So, that's why there's other things that can be done. And a lot of tech companies are actually moving to other methods of authentication. Some of us are already seeing that with like Windows Hello, for instance. You're using your face or you're using your fingerprint, some type of biometric to log in, because that's the number one thing that's usually lost in a breach are the credentials. So if we're losing credentials, then there's certainly things we can do to try to mitigate that, and that's some of the things that I thought we might be able to talk about today, and maybe even share some tips on how to keep yourself secure against a cyber attack in the event of something like a Facebook hack. Because here's the other thing is if you use the same password in more than one website, then what you're looking at is the potential of every website being breached after something like this happens with a Facebook. for
Well,
instance.
before we go any further, let's talk about that because you guys you're the two of the smartest guys I know. So I'm interested in, and I'm pretty sure everybody at home is interested in on really what can we do if we truly want to be. And I'm going to preface this by saying I'm not the smart guy here. I'm the video guy. I'm the video shaman. But what you hear from all these speakers and you hear all these people that that is, VPNs and you do this and you firewalls, whether it's a soft firewall or a hard firewall, or how can we, is there a way to truly keep ourselves, I don't know, unhackable?
Unhackable?
Not unhackable. No. No, that's just.
So that's always going to be a thing.
Yeah, there's no, the reality of it is, first off, most people always use the same password. I don't care. At some given point, they're going to utilize a password over again. Once those credentials are figured out and the bad guys have them, they put them out to the public, they're out there in the wild for everybody to keep trying. So if you might mitigate your password being changed today on your social media, you got that fixed, alleviated, okay? But you didn't realize you used the same password for your email account. Great. They already have your email address. They already have your credentials to log in. And next 2-3 months down the line, somebody decides that they find these credentials online. They start trying out different websites and stuff, and bam, they're in. And it's just something you're going to constantly keep having to deal with. The only thing you could really do would be like, a password manager.
Right,
Tools
and
stuff
that's
like
the
that.
focus has to shift, right? Since credentials are the typical thing that get cracked or breached, then what can you do? The first thing is always to change your password. If you use a password manager, that's actually one way that you can generate a very secure password easily, because you have one master password that you use to open that password manager, and every website you go to, it can automatically fill in that randomly generated one with uppercase, lowercase, numbers, special characters. And if you make it at least 22 characters long, then you're typically going to be far more secure than somebody that has a shorter.
23 characters?
Yeah, well, 22 is
Holy
what they're
crap,
saying.
I can't remember
That's-
8.
Yeah,
That's the
8
whole-
used to
Can
be
you
the-
imagine? I'm sitting there
That
going.
was the magic number up until just a few years ago, and then it went to
Yeah.
15, and now actually it's 24, but I'm still stuck on 22 because that's what I have my password manager set to. So it's actually 24. My apologies on that. So yeah, 24 characters.
But that's you got to remember too, John. That's the password manager's auto-generating that password for you, and it's going to remember.
Okay.
it.
Right,
So-
you don't have to remember.
So I remember back in the day when was it Dashlane came out?
Yes.
Right, that little dongle. The problem is, and I ordered one. I've ordered 4 because I lose them. I'm like, where the hell did it go? Oh my God, I left it at the stinking hotel. Now that worried me because I called the hotel. I did. I called my hotel where I was at. I said, I need. No one's cleaned the room yet. And they're like, yeah, no one's cleaned. I said, I need you to go in there and I need you to tell me if I left this USB drive in there. And the lady goes, why? I said, it's national security. You need to go check. She goes, really? I'm like, yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't
So
do
she literally went in there and they called me back. Now I said, I want to hear you physically break it. She goes, what? I said, I need you to physically break it. So
She's over here probably thinking
Wow.
she's part of the
she
CIA.
probably grabbed a pen and went.
oh my God.
I want to stick this.
But I do. I lose them. They're horrible. So there's
Yeah.
got to be a better way.
Well, see, that's one of the things that there's a problem with anything that's going to be portable or mobile is that you could potentially lose it, including things like your smartphone, right? Think of all the things that are on that.
Oh, there's more on here.
Yeah.
There's more on my cell phone than there is on my laptop.
Right.
Computers
So we started talking about what can you do. Well, there's other things you can do. You got to start thinking instead of, because everybody's been breached to this point. I mean,
Right.
think of the, who is the credit company, Experian.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They had a breach where they lost 330 million credential sets,
Oh.
which included driver's license, your address, your full name, possibly even credit card information, your email address. Any two of those, basically that means you've had a breach. That's by definition a breach. Any two pieces of what they call personally identifiable information, or PII as it's
Right.
abbreviated. So what do you do to help mitigate that? You have to do things like multi-factor authentication. And a lot of people think, oh, that sounds really, technical. Well, no, it's if you've ever had to use your phone where you get texted a number that you have to enter in, that's an example of two-factor authentication or
Right.
multi-factor authentication.
Or you get an email.
So that alone, enabling multi-factor authentication alone will defeat over 90% of those bad actors that are trying to get you by using things like a brute force attack or a what do they actually consider it to be a hack. When you look at the different types of incidents or breaches, they call it a hack or a business email compromise or BEC or credential stealing or credential stuffing. Well, what they do with credential stuffing, they take that database of all of that information that's been collected from the Experians and the Lowe's and all the others that have been leaked or breached,
Yeah,
and
'cause
they put in databases for sale on the dark web, and anybody can get it.
And on top of that,
web.
Yes.
and the SMS two-factor authentication for like your cell phone and stuff. Back in the day, it was really prevalent where a scam was called SIM swapping, where they would go ahead and call up the carrier. They'd find a target that was really worth taking over, call up the phone carrier, say they want to swap out their SIM card on their phone. All they would have to do is call them, tell them the new SIM card number, slap it into another phone. Now they're receiving your text messages. By the time you've already realized you're not receiving phone calls, they've already received authentication text to go ahead and break into your bank account or whatever else they want to do.
Right.
So a lot of cell phone companies now initiated where you have to, when you call, that they require some kind of a passcode or an authorization code in order to access your account.
GoDaddy does that.
Yeah, so
So if
there's-
I call GoDaddy and I log in, they're like, oh, what is your customer 4-digit customer code?
And there's certainly
5555.
There's
Thanks,
certainly
John.
other multi-factor authentication methods. Like
Right.
there's a lot of free ones out there.
Yeah.
Authy, for instance, is a great one. Google has one. Microsoft has one. So you can use an authenticator type of software program on your phone,
Yeah.
which is better. And to your point, Adam, when you were talking about the SIM card type things, Bezos, when he got hacked, they actually got the SIM card out of his phone, put another one in. So it wasn't even one of those where it was like a call-in type of
Yeah.
thing. They actually did a physical swap of his SIM card.
Wow.
So yeah, if you've got that kind of concern where you have to worry about even your phone being opened up and taking the SIM card out, then you got probably worse security problems. But he's a he's
can't
if
help
you look
you.
at most of these guys that have a lot of money, they won't even carry a smartphone because that's basically just a tracking device, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And all the information that's on that
I
can
know
really
mine
sink
is.
almost anybody.
I can't. So, not to get off the stuff, we're going to go right back on it. So we're going to have one show. We're going to talk about crypto, and we're going to talk about other stuff that's driving that complete crypto market we were talking about last week. So okay, as long as you can get rid of CAPTCHA, I'm okay. That stupid thing. I'm like, tell me which one's got the street sign in it. I can't. First of all, I can't see that well to see whether or not you have a street sign, especially when they have that one that's way off in the back.
Or they have
you're
those
like,
memes.
I didn't see that.
You're looking at the traffic lights, and you have like a little bit of green into
Just a little.
And you're like, do they really want that?
I don't know, here's the thing that worries me the most, because as much as I love my iPhone, whole 9 yards, it's the fact that eventually, first they started getting our fingerprints. Well, now they have our fingerprints, because that's stored to them, not us.
They have your face print.
And now they have my face print.
Mm-hmm.
So literally, anybody, if you want to be John, good luck. I'm just saying right now, but
You're saying that nobody wants to use your face?
no. I have a face for radio. I can't believe you guys let me sit here and talk on TV. That's just funny as hell.
Radio.
But so what's going to be next? Blood? Are you going to get a little blood and it's you?
Yeah, DNA.
DNA. It's like
What is it?
spit.
23andMe?
Actually, I was just talking to somebody about this yesterday, and I saw something. We're talking about embedded computers. So your phone and everything, you'll get a surgical procedure to have it embedded.
Oh, hell no.
You ever see the show Continuum?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Continuum. It was in the back of her head.
Yeah.
And that was the police officer that
Was it-
time traveled.
Was it like 23andMe and all those other ones that in the terms of use, once you submit your DNA for sequencing, that they now own your genome?
23andMe.
Wow.
So
Yes.
so now
I wasn't aware of that, but
Yes.
then again, I haven't done that.
I won't do it, because first off, if they own your genetic makeup,
Yeah, that's basically your source code.
Yeah, your source code.
They can make another one of you.
In the future, you never know.
Again, if you want to make another John, good luck. I don't think the world's handling one of us right now. Imagine two of us.
They're gonna be like,
Oh
you remember
my
that
God.
John back in
Except
22?
except for they're gonna pull out the asshole gene. Right there, we'll pull that one out. It's good. He's no longer an asshole, so it's
Asshole
all
gene.
good, right? So, but speaking of, okay, so we're gonna jump number 2. We're gonna go to asset number 3. So, because North Face, of all the people, you figure North Face would, but they had a breach too. 200,000 North Face accounts hacked in credential stuffing.
No.
Now, what is a credential stuffing attack?
Yeah, that's a fun one, because that database that's for sale on the dark web, that's basically all those credentials that have been recovered from all the different hackers. They all team together. Believe it or not, they have their own organization, and they have a database of over, it's over 30 billion, which if you think of it, okay, there's only 7-8 billion people on on this planet, and there's over 30 billion credentials. That means they've got more than just one per person out there, and they put that for sale on the dark web all the time. You can get all of these, and basically what they're doing is they're doing brute force attacks using known credentials that they've got in that database. And when you hear about these bot networks that are out there, robot computers that have been taken over by these bad actors, and they just pound every single website that has credentials in it from all different angles at once,
they
and
can
within
get in.
seconds in some cases, they can get through with a credential stuffing type thing where they insert those known credentials and get in. So Fast Company, there's another one in here that's even kind of sicker.
We're going to get to that one, because I got Fast
They-
Company in here.
They used unbelievable. They use this the built-in or the default passwords and usernames on the accounts, and that's why they got hacked.
What?
Yes, if you can believe that. So,
Oh my-
and this was a company that should definitely know better because they were hacked previously.
Right.
By the same company that hacked Uber got them, I think is what it was.
So,
Actually.
and then here's one that you never think in a million years, well, they're not going to get out. Why?
this is one of my
Why?
favorite topics right
Why?
here.
U-Haul.
Driver's license information now. That's start mixing with some of this information.
Yep.
These are some holy grail stuff. This is
I have a theory on the whole U-Haul hack.
Okay.
they're moving in.
Well, I think. Do you know who Gavin Newsom is?
I heard the name.
Gavin Newsom, yeah, he's done some ads here in Florida recently.
Governor-
He's the governor of California.
California.
Okay.
I think it's his campaign team trying to dispel the rumor that he is the U-Haul Salesman of the Year award the last 4 years running.
Right? He should be.
Yes,
A
because
lot of people moving out. You moved out?
I moved out. You're right. And you know what? So did 18,000 businesses over the past 10 years. Not to mention over a net loss of 100,000 plus people per year, several years in a row. So
That's a lot.
That's just my theory that Gavin's team is trying to clear his name of being the U-Haul Salesman of the Year.
So because you I don't know who you guys listen to for news, but I listen to a lot of Fox and actually OAN is another one I love. But the commercials running on there they always have this the scary thing where it's like an order, like a waiter going, "Hey, can I help you? Oh, I'd like to have a social security number and with a side of the driver's license." it's like, and then they talk about,
We should do a commercial like.
That'd be hilarious.
I mean, that's crazy, right? I mean, it's like, wow. I mean, so I know the dark web as well. We all do here.
Maybe
sitting here, but
5
people,
Bitcoins,
a lot
sir.
of- right? A lot of people sit there and go, I just don't think the dark web thing is a thing. I'm like, oh, it's a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big thing.
Not all of it's nefarious, of course, because even businesses have their own dark web for
That's
all of
correct.
their internal operations and
Yep.
things like that.
Yeah, but it's there, and you can buy this. I mean, chunk loads,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
right? So if you're nefarious and blah blah blah. So here's the one that's the scariest of all.
Yeah, that's when I saw that originally
Yeah.
come out a while back.
Publishes
Yeah.
120,000
Yeah.
taxpayers' confidential info on its website.
No, this one was human error because there are some businesses that are required by law to have their tax information posted.
Nonprofits and
Yeah, so
some
in this
for-profit.
case, the employee, they just by mistake put 120,000 that they shouldn't have.
It just
Just a small little mistake.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a big human error. I don't know if that person should keep their
But
job.
you know
or not.
what? 82%. This is Verizon does a data breach investigative report that they publish at the half point of the year and then at the
But
end
they
of
have
the year.
to, right?
At the 6-month point,
Right.
Verizon published, and that's what they came out with. 82% of all breaches and incidents, because that's the two categories for cyber types of incidents and breaches cyber attacks are breaches and incidents, and 82% of those have some human element involved.
oh yeah.
Wow.
So in other words, there's either a mistake like that, human error, or they've got really poor procedures or privilege access that they shouldn't have. In other words, they got administrator rights, things like that, or they've been social engineered, which is very easy to do.
Yeah, when a developer leaves the root access open on the database.
Yeah, or they use the default passwords for their all their network equipment.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
And of course, the
And
next
just in case you need to know, that's admin password, admin, or just admin, no password.
what's
Yes.
password 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now it's 7, 8, 9, 10. Because
Yeah,
you
they
gotta
got more
have-
secure, right? It's-
Yeah, a little bit more.
Yeah,
so.
the
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
25
6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, every year they publish the 25 most common passwords used out there because they look at all this stuff, right? And it's usually got that kind of password in there, which you'd
You know,
think we'd learn by now.
I think people do it because they're thinking, no one would ever think that I would use that. It's almost like a reverse psychology type
but
of
the
thing.
brute force stuff does that like within a fraction
Yeah,
of a second.
they write that program. It basically just will go in there, start hitting the login page of
Okay.
the website, and they'll already have all the list of username and passwords that could possibly, potentially work. They'll just hammer it, and when they work, they'll just click this one works, click this one works, click this one
Right.
works. Now they have all known passwords, and they can just go ahead and go in there and snoop around, and hopefully one of them is a master password to get into the back end and do some more work.
That's correct. So what's the difference between stuffing and phishing?
It's the way
Because American Airlines, they want you to they like phishing
phishing.
a lot.
I just had a
Not
phishing
like we
incident
like
this
fishing
morning.
here in Florida, right? That we were talking
wrong
about
kind of
earlier.
Phishing.
I just had a phishing incident this morning, so I can go ahead and
You were
there.
yeah,
So we
you were
go.
talking
Here we
about
go. You go to a a phishing incident is basically where they use some kind of social engineering in a way that they can control, or they're going to make you do something because they told you to.
Right.
And you're going to fall for it, hook, line, and sinker. You're gonna
Fishing.
jump on it. You're fishing.
You're gonna fall
You're
for the
gonna
bait.
buy. You're gonna fall for the bait. And the bait
Right.
in this particular instance was a client comes in, they go on the web, they're researching information. A lot of times these websites have different ads and stuff like that on them. You hover over them and it takes you to a page that just so happens to have a website that full screens your web browser, so you can't get to the locks it up and basically says don't turn off your computer, don't close out, call this number now. Well, if that's if they're telling you to call this number, why are you calling a number just because your computer's telling you to?
I turn it off.
Okay, come on.
turn
And this particular client called the number and was able to allow a hacker into their system.
Oh, my
And
God.
using the
God,
guise
you're
of being an IT technician or somebody, this person's in here installed remote access tools into her computer. They were already in her registry. They were already in her Windows directory. That's before she had stopped them.
Right.
They had already told her price and everything, before telling her, before she was getting a chance to tell them no. And you don't know what else they were already doing. They can remotely transfer data directly from your machine into their machine, and if most people carry, have their pictures of their driver's license that they've scanned at some point, their social security number, they've
I do, 'cause
emailed
I leave
out.
my wallet at studio all the time, so if I ever get pulled over, I can show my
Oh
driver's
yeah,
license
you
and
got
my
it right there.
insurance card.
So and the problem is, the client says, why did this happen? I have antivirus. I have this. I says, you can have all the protection in the world, but it's not going to save you from yourself. All you had to do is not call the number. And the same thing when they send the credentials for, oh, you know what, we're the bank, and we need you to sign back into the bank, into your account because, we noticed some suspicious activity. We want to make sure it's you. Well, yeah. Come on.
I've seen some really crazy. Actually, what got me really, really serious about cybersecurity is that one of my clients received an email that was a phishing email, failed UPS delivery notice, right? Click here to reschedule your delivery. Oh, and then click here because you have to have this online viewer to see this, and then click here to do one more step. Infected
continue
her
clicking.
computer and then 2 servers on that network. And in this case, this was a new employee, so they hadn't gone through a lot of the training that they had, and that's one of the things that's most important, right? And yeah, that took me, in those days, it wasn't one of the phishing attempts that led in, it led to ransomware, but it was one of those that didn't take the data first, because that started in January 2020.
Yeah.
And that was Fitbit that got hit on that one. And they weren't going to pay the ransom. It was a $10 million request for ransom. They said, we're going to restore from backup. And then the hacker presented some of their data. And from that point forward, almost every single ransomware event has been a situation where they're taking the data off the computers now, and they threaten to release that for sale on the dark web. And of course, they're all freaking out about that because that's lawsuits, that's PII or EHI that's being any kind of information is being potentially sold, and that leads to lawsuits and other problems.
Okay, so typically the phishing thing is from emails.
No, not necessarily.
Oh,
I mean, no.
Yeah, the phone call ones.
Yeah, that phone call one was just, it popped up her just surfing the web. Okay, so this can happen at any given time. So you have to be vigilant in order. I mean, you could be watching a video, for instance.
Okay.
You could be watching Tech Shamans, and a video a screen pops up. Call this number now if you want to get in touch with the shamans.
Guess who's paying the most for the Google pay-per-click ads?
Oh, yeah.
Especially when you search for antivirus or
Right.
anything dealing with cybersecurity.
Oh.
$30 billion a year is the estimated spend on those bad actors trying to get you to click on their links first.
It's so bad, John, that Google has taken for people in our industry, have taken out the ability for us to advertise on Google AdWords. I can't put computer repair in an ad. Because, and it will not get approved. I will not be able to have a running ad.
Oh my
back.
God. We had an issue. We got hacked. It was phishing.
Call it tech.
Call it tech. Call it tech. Yeah, so it is what it is.
Cali Tech.
Clock's not running. Anyway, so it's really scary that it's getting to the point where, but the 2-point authentication doesn't really work when it comes to your emails and stuff like that, right? I mean, we're talking that is for your passwords for your computers and your stuff like that.
You can have it on your email.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, you want to have it on your email because business email compromise, BEC, if you've ever seen that, that's what some of the hack individuals in our sheet here, even they had a BEC, which means that they probably got a phishing email where they clicked on a link thinking they were logging into their, like a really typical one is this. Your Office 365 or Microsoft 365 storage is out. You need to click here to log in and get more storage.
I got that the other day,
right?
and I'm like,
it's a complete fish, and you put in your credentials. They now have your credentials. They log into your account, forward your email to them, so you don't even get any more emails. They've got control of your account, send everybody in your address book an email, and they send things like invoices.
And the good thing about having 2FA is the fact that when you wake up in the middle of the night at 3 o'clock in the morning and your phone is going off, you know some bad actor has got your information and trying to get in there. So now you can go ahead and mitigate the problems effectively and get it to stop.
Okay.
So that's one of the number one things you can do to defeat all these credential type of breaches is to enable multi-factor authentication, and it's not always limited just to two-factor.
Right.
It can be multiple, like 3, 4. It might be your face, your eyes, fingerprint, and a code. It could be all of those, and in some security situations, I'm retired Navy, and we had big-time security even in the 90s until I retired. every 30 days having to change the safes, and I've got 15 safes I need to remember the combinations for, plus the code for the door, plus access into the vault and all this. You had to have good systems.
Right.
And it was always multi-factor in those cases too, except for the safes.
Right.
But it's absolutely one of the easiest things to do, and it's like, if I were to say the number one tip for the week would be, is to have multi-factor enabled on anything and everything you can, especially financials and especially your email, especially if you have Microsoft 365.
And then if you're fast company, the hacker sent
You want to slow down on building that website.
right, because they pushed out offensive and racist notifications to their users.
Yeah.
I wonder what that means. I wonder what kind of stuff was sent.
I looked at some of it. It was using the N-word and all that, and yeah, they were...
N-word, like naughty?
Well, yeah.
It wasn't nice.
It wasn't
It
nice?
wasn't nice. They made it definitely on the naughty list this year.
Those guys are so bad. It is. It's it's kind of scary, to be honest with you. It's a scary world that we're living in, where this is what people.
So maybe this is a good time just to talk. What is security as it applies to cybersecurity? Would you mind,
because after this we're all talking about. Well, we're going to talk about Microsoft rolling out a fix for Outlook crashing after launch. I don't know. You guys, that was frustrating.
The question I get asked the most, and I'm sure Adam does as well, is what can we do? What can we do?
Right.
So if anybody can be hacked, what can we do?
Stay off the internet.
Just unplug completely.
And
you know
under
what?
a rock.
You know what? The Wall Street Journal interviewed the FBI and DOD just a few years back, like 2018, I believe it was. And they have $50 million a year type budgets for security as it pertains to cybersecurity and keeping their IT secure. Yet they still keep getting hacked, or they would be. So you know what they do now? They have honeypots out there, and that's about it. In other words, they've got stuff out there to see who's going to go after it, like maybe a junior hacker or somebody that's trying to play hacker and don't really know what they're doing.
Right.
And a lot of times they'll end up recruiting them because they see they have skill or not.
No,
but
it's because the IT manager is literally sitting there watching the screen and saying, wow, he's really good. And that's when they call him.
Yeah. But otherwise, they have nothing of any value that can touch the internet.
Yeah.
Everything is completely segmented off. Nothing touches the internet. And they have a $50 million a year plus $50 million a year budget to basically keep themselves safe and secure, and they can't do it still. So anybody can be hacked. So what do you have to focus on? You have to shift your focus. And here's the other thing. Gartner Research Group, you guys heard of them?
Yep.
They looked at over 1,000 companies, small, medium, and large, throughout the United States, and they looked at where are they spending their money as it pertains to IT, but specifically on security. 91% of the IT spend only went to one component, and it's protection. The NIST, or National Institute of Standards and Technology in the United States, that's our framework that we use for security as it applies to almost anything security throughout the United States. And other countries have actually copied this because it's a good system. They look at, well, what does it mean to have security? And they have 5 key things in there. I like to focus on the middle 3 because I think that's the easiest to remember, and it applies to businesses. But we still need to identify. That's the first one. Identify what's most important to you. What is the important thing that, I'm dealing with businesses, so what's the most important thing for your business? And it almost always comes down to the data that they have on their technology. So then there's protection, detection, response, and recover or remediate. And I usually just keep those 3, protection, detection, response, or protect, detect, respond, because that's how they identify it on NIST. I focus on those 3 because even with respond, you're going to usually have some type of remediation component. And I do a little presentation I call the house in the cloud, just to try to make it easy, and this is interactive so we can talk about it.
Right.
We all know how to keep our house safe, right?
Yep.
If we're talking security, what do we do to keep our house straight?
Big black dog and guns.
See, that's definitely good, right? What else do we have? We have a wall, right? This doesn't go over well in California, by the way, the wall thing. Or even in
triggered
Texas,
half
right?
of California. He said wall.
Okay, a fence. We'll take a fence. But you have a wall or a fence, right?
Yes, I do.
But you have usually door, windows with locks, right?
Yep.
And each of those things that we just talked about are protection, right? So what do we use for detection in our home? You said one of them already.
Dog.
The dog, right? They're great at it. What else do you have for detection at home?
I have security cameras, and
There you go.
I have security on the doors, windows.
Right, so you have
Motion
a
detectors.
security system of some
Yeah,
type where there's,
absolutely.
if the door is open or a window's open or if the window's broken, you have all these sensors, right? And maybe you're even in an
He's
area.
like 100 times way over me, but yes.
Right, and maybe even have in your neighborhood, a neighborhood watch type of thing, right? Or crime watch.
We don't have that.
Well, some people do. So
we
those
sit-
are all
we sit-
things.
we have people that sit by their windows
Personally,
with
I like the
guns.
dog. I like the dog. I
The
think
dog
dogs
is
are
the
great.
best.
Because guess what? In Respond, the dog can eat the bad guy.
That's correct.
And you had the other
I don't have to
Respond,
call the cops
right?
going,
What's your favorite way to respond? Because you said it.
gun.
Gun, right. You can take care of yourself. And if you have an alarm system, it also may call the police. And if all else fails, then you have insurance usually. Because if you're not there, nobody's there, then what do you do? But that's security. Now, which one of those is most important?
Gun. And the U.S.
So in other words, Respond.
Insurance.
Wait,
Yeah.
the law.
The law.
The law.
Stand my ground.
Stand
my
your ground.
ground.
Okay.
Stand my
California, that
ground.
doesn't work real well, so I'm glad to be here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
I'm
you
glad
don't
to be
have
here.
that out there, do you?
No.
No, or you did have it out there. You're not there anymore.
Well,
Welcome
you
to Florida.
can still kind of do it, but you need the USCCA to really back you.
You can,
That's,
you can still kind of do it, but you must administer medical attention immediately. You have to show that you tried to save his life.
That's why I have a
And
big, ugly dog.
You have to say
that
that
eats
you
it.
you have to say that you warn them, because if you have USCCA, you always know you have to warn
Yes,
them that
you
I have
do.
a gun. If you keep coming, I will shoot you. That. Type
Oh,
of
yeah,
thing,
we
right?
have all that, yeah.
Anyway, so that's security.
Wait, let me get my phone out. Hello. Wait, I have a gun. I
Do you
will
hear
shoot
me?
You.
Do you hear me saying that?
I'm on. I'm on Facebook Live.
Coming anyway. Great.
Right. So that's security as it pertains to your house and even your
Right.
business potentially. But what does it look like for cybersecurity?
Right.
Now, most of us will get, it's that antivirus, right? It's the antivirus, Adam? Yeah?
Yeah.
So, Adam, that's it. That's what you need. Well, doesn't the antivirus stop the person that wants me to
Yeah,
call
does
them?
it, Adam?
Well, of course it does.
Yeah, man.
Yes,
it does.
yes.
You're
As a
safe.
matter of fact, the minute you go ahead and start dialing on that phone, it will electrocute you. Stop you from making that phone call. No,
So-
no, John. I don't think you should do that.
Obviously,
John.
Don't do
antivirus
that.
isn't enough. Neither is your firewall all by itself, because that phishing email is bypassing all that. And if they click on the link, they've basically given it permission, right? So
Yeah.
a script can run. If that script runs a process and then it secures itself by protecting it, in the system, then it's now allowed to run in the Windows operating system, because that's the way a lot of these things work now. That's how they keep getting in and keep doing all this damage.
They run in the background like a.
So there's got to be layers, right? You
Talk
have
to
to
me
have
about computers running in the background. That's the most frustrating thing I've ever seen.
you got to have defense in
killing
depth,
me.
is what I'm getting at.
So
right?
killing me. God, have mercy. I mean, they're just, it's like, well, okay, I have a question for you. I'm not trying to get political. Obviously, I'm looking at this. So has the amount of hacking coming from Ukraine slowed down?
Actually, Russia is the number one.
Yeah.
They still have, by a large percentage, even over China, believe it or not. It's like if they were to look at just the first 6 months, again, they have Verizon data breach investigative report. They report that it's like somewhere around, I think it was 13,000 something from Russia, where it was around 5,000 for China. And another big player in there is Iran.
So I thought
that's the new
Ukraine was
axis of evil.
one of the bigger names in the hacking world.
Well, Ukraine is.
And I'm not trying to pick on Ukraine. I'm not. I'm just saying the one good thing that came out of this Ukraine thing is their hacking
of course,
is
the United
slowed
States
down.
is in there, and so in
yeah.
United States is just below China, and Ukraine, I didn't even see it in that list, so they're not that high up. However, that doesn't mean they're not. And as a matter of fact, the biggest threat that has been to the United States as far as cyber attacks is because of that war in Russia and Ukraine, because they're going after each other, and of course that gets out in the wild. And then any of us can also, if a hacker gets hold of that and decides to release that to their, the list of billions of email addresses they have for sale on the dark web, then they're sending out to everybody and everything.
Right.
Because like I said, it's that turnkey business that's available out there that anybody, you don't have to be a hacker to go into business having a ransomware.
Got it. Phew, I'm tired. I need to take a nap and go back to sleep. This has been a nightmare one. I mean, not a nightmare show. Well, the audio going down with this, but it's amazing how important all this is. Amazing, absolutely amazing. And it's scary that you really can't stop a lot of it.
Right.
I mean,
so
you
have
can
to-
do your best.
You have
but-
to mitigate the risk.
Right.
So that's where the focus needs to shift as we kind of started going to.
Do they have hackers insurance?
There's cyber insurance.
Cyber
And
insurance.
that's actually one of the things that I was going to make available
We
as-
have this big, long, nice thing that's really kind of
for
cool.
the do-it-yourselfers out there. We'll see if we can make this available to you.
Yeah, we'll put this in the chat in the PDF.
It's 15 ways to protect your business from a cyber attack, but this can also be personal. So this is just protection, and at the very bottom of that sheet is cyber insurance. And I'm not an insurance salesman, but if you do not have cyber insurance, you need it.
Look into it.
You definitely need it.
We'll make
because-
this as a download off of. On the Tech Shamans landing page.
1 in 4 businesses will be breached this year.
Wow.
It's already, now I'm talking breaches. There's already been, at the 6-month point on the Verizon Data Breach Investigator report, they've reported that like 66% of all businesses in the United States have had at least an incident.
Whoa.
And people in our field, no business listens to us because the first thing that comes out of their mouth is when you first tell them that they shouldn't do it this way is it's been working this way
Right.
all this
Right.
time. Even if it is the biggest gaping hole in your system.
Right.
And that is the most frustrating thing because it's not about when, if it's going to happen, it's about when it's going to happen. It doesn't have to happen today. And I'm just saying, do it this way or else you will end up being like most everybody else.
Pay the price.
Yes. So,
Well, we're going to talk about something interesting here. So, remember how we've been saying EVs and blah, blah. I've been saying this for years. So, this kid bought a Ford EV truck, right? 300 miles you're supposed to get with this bad boy, right? Well, the minute he put that trailer on, empty, to go get that is a very cool truck, by the way, that he is pulling. I think I'd rather drive the truck he's pulling than the truck he's in. It started going down. Like he went from being able to get 300 miles to getting 200 miles. And then when he put the truck on there to bring it back, it just killed it. And I said this, look, electric vehicles, now I know Tesla's making the big truck. This one right here.
no, we just need to stay out of that.
See, to me, I mean, that whole underbelly in the back's got to be batteries to be able to move that thing,
Oh,
to
yeah.
have it be able to get distance, right?
We need to talk about Edison Motors and get off. Go
Well,
ahead and get off, Elon.
so I've said it for years that EVs are great and they're pretty and all, and yeah, I mean if you don't have to do any long distance driving at all, and you only work more than 20 miles away or 30 miles
Well-
away, that's wonderful. Go, absolutely, I'm all for it. But the minute you got to go over 100 miles
Battery
and you're
technology
pulling a
is
load,
not there.
absolutely
Yeah.
not.
Battery
There's no
tech is
way.
not there. That's why I like what Edison Motors was doing. I don't know if you've seen that, where they've been doing a lot of things on TikTok and stuff like that. But what it is they're retrofitting semis with a Caterpillar generator,
Yes, I have seen this.
battery packs, and they're using Tesla driveline on motors on the wheels and stuff like that to drive. They're doing it to an old logging truck, retrofitting, and people are all complaining. Well, why are you using regular semi, hardware and stuff? Because it's all readily available. And then they're like, well, then it's not a true electric vehicle, but it is. But trains do the same thing. Diesel
Right.
trains use electric
Right.
motors. Some of the giant Titan dump trucks, those great big dump trucks with the
Yep.
12 feet wheels, those are all electric motors. They have a
Right.
Caterpillar generator on them, and because it's more efficient
Yep.
than using truly full electric. Just imagine this thing can go forever. The generator is going to keep the batteries charged,
Yep.
and power the system and keep it going down the road.
We should have a picture of the Tesla that was towing the generator behind it.
Oh,
That-
I know, that is awesome. So there's an idea, Elon. Listen, if you're listening to us, go and get Honda and get yourself a little
little
2500 generator that's super quiet, port it out the back, and have the batteries charged all the time.
Yeah, and you know what, Elon, you could
Trickle
always
charge,
use
right?
hydrogen. You could always use
Now,
hydrogen on it.
there's some really, really cool technology that I first read about easily 5 years ago, and I thought it'd be in play by now, and that is something called graphene.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Graphite it sounds just like graphite because it's similar to that, like graphite's in a pencil, right?
Right.
Well, graphene is more conductive than gold, and that's our number one conductor right now.
Gold,
is gold. However, graphene is far more efficient, and it has greater properties for doing the transmission of electrical
How readily
signal.
available is it?
Well, I mean, we have graphite everywhere, right? It's very readily available.
I think
it's
graphene, wasn't it like a Nano Technology?
Yes, and that's the other part of this that's really cool. It's Nano Technology. If you haven't heard of that, that's what would allow ant, like the ones that were eating up your body over the weekend.
Yep.
They could wear a watch, for instance. That's what nanotech would do. But graphene was supposed to be the great hope because they could take a thin cellophane sheet and make it into a battery, so it's incredibly lightweight, charges near instant, like less than a second or something like that for something this size. So it might take a little bit longer for something that could power, like a car or a vehicle, but incredibly lightweight. And they were saying they could use a solar panel or even like a little wind impeller to keep like a trickle charge on it. This was some of the ideas anyway that I saw, and that would make it almost perpetual. Maybe you have to charge up every now and then, but it's like less than 10 minutes and you've got a full charge. So this is what's on the horizon. It's just, it hasn't been fully harnessed yet. They haven't figured out exactly how to do all this, but nanotech is exploding everywhere, and I'm wondering why we don't see more of that in the news. But I talked to a table full of people yesterday, and 3 of them, their companies, were working on some type of initiative with nanotechnology, and they knew exactly what graphene was. So in other words, they're using it there. We're just not hearing about it. So I'm really interested to learn more about that.
Well, call Elon. Say, yo, dude, you
Yeah.
use it. He uses it first.
He's using lithium ion still, and kind of an older
that's
method.
just, yeah.
That's and he's even
Too
going to
much-
China to get that, which is
Too much
wrong.
heat. And I mean, when you have to start pumping antifreeze through batteries,
Right.
that's pretty crazy.
And then they're telling everybody down in South, don't if your car got wet, don't turn it on.
No, and I love when they always show the electric cars driving through water.
No.
And I was like, I guarantee that's not salt water.
Nope. And even water alone is just bad.
Right. Or it's probably super distilled water.
Right.
Because if it's distilled, then there's no
minerals.
impurities, no
Yeah.
minerals, nothing for electricity to run through.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what's dying? You know what's dying?
What's dying?
The GIF.
Oh yeah. I
GIF.
saw
The
that.
end of
I like
GIF.
GIFs.
I know. No GIFs.
GIF. Okay.
GIFs are peanut butter.
I know. I like GIF.
I know. I love Jif. I actually got recalled a while back. I did not know that. I went to the store one day looking for Jif peanut butter. I'm like, all right, is there a hurricane coming or something? The guy goes, no, there was a recall. I'm like, he goes, where have you been? And I'm like, well, obviously not where I could see Jif got recalled. So I had to go to
And you
Peter.
probably haven't been paying attention to the fact that milk is suddenly, for a while there, just disappearing off the shelves, and cheese and yogurt's having issues. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all issues.
Yeah.
I remember today. So I grew up as a kid. I grew up on my grandfather was a dairy farmer, and we had real milk.
Cows are boycotting.
Oh, damn cows.
And the Amish, they're trying to boycott the Amish even, and they've got some of the best creamery type products, right?
Dumbasses. I mean, I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud? Dumbasses.
These cows, man, they just
I
need
know,
to
damn
stop.
cows.
Yeah. We
So
have to go
I
all
was.
the way to Sarasota just to get Amish stuff now.
I know. Poor Sarasota. But so Bill Shatner said it was a life-changing experience. I just want to talk about this real quick
yes.
about him going out or outer space. It really, and I got the article up, but he goes, it reinstated the whole fact that this is such a wonderful place to live, and and I mean, good for him. Good for him being able to go out to space. I don't know if I'd do it right now. I mean, I'm still not sold.
I think when you realize that we're just a speck of a marble sitting out there, and then you kind of realize how on the edge we're living, I guess.
Right.
I don't know how to put it.
I know. It's like, So, hey,
Right.
thanks everybody for watching. We appreciate it. We know we really kind of got deep on the cyber attack and stuff like that because we need to, and everybody out there needs to be
It's
paying
coming.
attention to what's going on. It is scary. It is very scary about how things are going on. So, hey, if you have any questions or if you have any comments or stuff that you want us to look into, Tech Shamans at area52tv.com. We will be glad to. We had the old one up there. We'll be glad to answer those. We'll see everybody next week. Have a techie week.
See ya.